Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Saturday, and I did not change my calendar 2 days in a row. That's great. Um, Probably should have done this before starting the camera, but we'll see what happens here in a second or two. Yes, okay. I have to say, my last video was interesting. Some of the comments I got, but the way Jerry's talking lately, she's getting. I don't want to say she's getting her hopes up, and I'm not trying to say she's trying to get my hopes up. We both understand the future is unknown, but we're trying to get ideas of how to go about camping or RVing or whatever you want to call it, to go visit friends and family. Now, my biggest concern right now is because somebody suggested just try it, try doing the sleeping arrangement in the van in the carport. That way, if we know we're uncomfortable, we can come inside and crawl back into our own bed. The thing is, I could do it. Jerry can't. Right now, with the leg, the brace, the whole shebang, just to get her from in the house to the car, is a time-consuming, tiresome effort. That and a factor with the way the heat has been lately and whatnot, I don't think I could stand the heat sleeping in the car unless I had like some sort of method of keeping me cool without running the car all night long just for the air conditioner. So these are things that I've been thinking about because of the factor is like, okay, if we were to do it in the van and we were to do it in the summertime, we would have to have some good flowing good strong fans to keep us cool at night, or blast AC at maximum for a good hour or so just to cool off the inside of the van after putting sun blockers over the windows. So there's a lot of things I've been thinking about since Jerry's been showing me the various videos on people converting their vans into RVs. So it's one of those things where it's like, gotta weigh out the pros and cons and whatnot. But for the one naysayer that said keep on dreaming, yeah, you know what the thing is? America was literally built on the dreams of men and women who have made this country what it is. Now, I can say that maybe back before 1985, 90, somewhere in that frame of time, things started to, well, actually probably earlier, probably back in the late 60s. Things have been sliding downhill here in America. I can list off all the things, but I'm not going to get into that because I was rereading the American Cozy, and one of the things that I reread and wrote down in my notes was the trying to make your mind happy, or doing your best to reprogram your brain to think about gratitude and happiness and not worry about the negativity or that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do that now. Now, I had another person, I can't remember what they wrote, but I didn't take it negatively. I took it as, constructive criticism. And like I said, I don't remember exactly what she said, but I realized that a lot of people are trying to help me stay grounded, I guess you'd say, in the reality of we don't know what tomorrow is going to happen. You know, the RV, the whole idea of RVing, let alone turning the minivan into a mini RV, may or may not happen. But the thing is, I don't want to be stuck in one place. So the idea of living an RV life where, like, most of the people I listened to that was doing RVs on YouTube and whatnot, their conversion of their minivan into an RV, 2 to 3 of the people were like, we don't have homes no more. We travel around doing our own, doing whatever we need to survive. Now I don't know if any of these people are retirees, or they're able to do whatever they do for a living mobile. As long as they've got a decent Wi-Fi signal or something like that. Hey, I'm beyond ready to do something like that, because I'm getting tired of being stuck in one location. Sorry. So it's kind of like one of those, like, I've been here in Missouri or in Rolla for 8 years. I'm not that I'm bored or anything like that. I'm just antsy to see someplace else. Yes, Rolla to me is somewhat boring because it has very little activity without having to fork over money to join our health center, which is basically use of a resistance pool, weightlifting equipment, an indoor quarter-mile track, things like that. And I don't want to just walk around a track inside of a building. Yet at the same time, I don't want to walk around in the heat. That's why I'm like, I want to move north. I know it gets warm up there, but my experiences in Yellowstone National Park especially is like, yes, it does get warm, but there's always a cool mountain breeze going through those mountains. So I did not feel as warm to me as some people. That, in fact, I was in my element. I was out in nature. I was in the woods. I was up in the mountains. That's like my ideal lifestyle if I'm going to have to be living in one location the rest of my life. Is to be up in the mountains, in the wilderness, in the forests, in nature, where I can step out my front door and breathe in the essence of mountain life. I know it's harsh. I know during the wintertime it can be downright dangerous because of the snowstorms and the road conditions and things like that. But if I had my ideal lifestyle, I wouldn't have to worry about that, because I could sit in my home for months on end with plenty of food supply, because I would bulk up my groceries and have multiple freezers down in a basement area or a large kitchen. I'd have plenty of pantry space for canned goods, things like that I could survive 2-3 months without having to leave my home. Some people are like, how could you think about living like that? Because aren't you afraid of cabin fever? No, not really, because not only would I have enough food supply, but I would have plenty of ways of entertaining myself between reading, blogging, keeping my house straight and clean, things of that nature. But just because I have that ideal lifestyle in my brain does not mean it's going to happen. I've had to learn throughout my life to live with what I have, even though there are times I'm complacent about it because of the fact that I want more, or I want something different, or I want to live a certain way, but I can't because I have to deal with the other people living in the house, Not that I want to be a hermit or be by myself. It's just, I have to learn how to deal. and I just remember what the other person was talking about. The other person was talking about how basically what I got out of their comment, which may or may not be right, but it basically sounded like she wanted me to forget about myself and just forgo taking care of myself because Jerry has cancer and she needs me. I agree yet disagree. And let me explain. My agreement is yes, Jerry has cancer. Yes, Jerry needs me for certain things, but she doesn't need me 24/7. I have a house to take care of. Now that I'm temporarily out of work, until we figure out what's going on, if I need to get a part-time job for the summer or if we got enough income for the next almost 3 months before I can go back to work due to the college, school season. But the thing is, I realize, and Jerry has been trying to push it, but I've been so like, I don't have the time. I was basically up, mobile, working, doing other things besides taking care of myself, which wasn't doing a very good a job of that. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was lucky if I can fall asleep by 9, 10 p.m. So I was literally going for, almost 16 hours or more. Let's see, 12, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 15 to 16 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And Saturdays, I was so either like trying to take care of the house or just so exhausted that I could barely take care of Jerry. I wasn't taking time to, I wasn't taking large amounts of time to self-care, and now that summertime, I got to figure out what my insurance is so I can deal with my eyes because they're going bad. Everything on a book or a computer screen or anything that's close up gets very blurry. In fact, I don't know how far away I am from my phone, but my own imagery on my phone is somewhat hazy. So I'm like, oh God, I hope I'm not getting some sort of optical problem that I won't be able to drive. So it's kind of like one of those, is it just because I'm sleepy? Is it because of the room? Is it because my eyes are starting to, have issues? And I've had issues with my eyes all my life. In fact, there was a period of time in Germany when I was having really bad optical problems, and basically they discovered I had lazy eye, and I had to wear a patch over my good eye, which I don't know which one is the worst now, but I have pictures from that time. If I can find those pictures, I might be able to put one on here. But I had a patch over my eye because of lazy eye, and they were trying to get my lazy eye to work properly by covering up the good one. And I've had, the closest thing to near perfect eyesight was 20/40. My good eye was 20/20, my bad eye was 20/40. And I need to go see an eye doctor for glasses or whatnot. I think Walmart takes the insurance that I have now. Then I also need or want to go get my teeth done because one of my coworkers had such a bad abscess. Yeah, he had to go to the doctor and have surgery done to clear up the abscess. They had to literally cut into the gum line to remove the tooth. I'm at that point in time where it's like, you might as well just remove them all. I know I've got good roots, but the enamel on the teeth that are above the root line or gum line are for shite. And I'll have to wear full dentures. Which is, hey, my dad had full dentures by the time he was 30. younger, no, he had partials because he had one or two good teeth. Mom had full dentures, I don't know what age. Here I'm at 50, still doing pretty good with what I have, and starting to realize, yeah, maybe I need to, do dentures. But the thing is, our counselor, the lady that comes in once a week or so, who's our social worker, caseworker, however you want to put it, she's talked to both of us, and I told her about my situation and my personality and whatnot, and Jerry told her about her personality and situations. And she realized that the reason why I'm not taking care of myself is because of the fact that I am one of these people that will forgo their personal care and whatnot to help the other person out. And Jerry's the same way. We have to literally remind ourselves or nag on each other to, go get a doctor's appointment for this, or you have to do that, blah, blah, things like that. Which for me is like, I don't mind caring for my wife, but I'm not going to force her to do something that, one, as an adult, she should know to do it anyhow. And two, like I said, I don't worry about myself. I worry about the other people around me, but I very rarely worry about myself. Yeah, there are times where I get a little annoyed because, like, I know a lot of the purchases Jerry has made through Amazon and whatnot was necessities. This was before our insurance and hospice was providing wound care materials. That most of the stuff we were buying was wound care materials. But I sometimes get a little like, here I am doing all this work, busting my butt, trying to take care of everybody, yet where's my reward? So it kind of sounds a little selfish because I want something in turn for doing all the stuff that I should be doing anyhow as a husband and a son. But there are times I just get this feeling of almost feeling as if I'm not appreciated, which I know is not true, but there's that part of me that just comes out going, yeah, bust my butt to do all this stuff, and I just don't feel, the love for it. But, sorry, parts of me is still waking up, even though I've been up for almost an hour, an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. I think what it is because my brain and my body are like, hey, you're supposed to be on vacation. Take it easy, man. Sleep in. I am sleeping in by 2 hours. 3 hours actually, because I don't get up until 8. But still, parts of my body are just kind of like, dude, you've been going at it for months now. Since about September, late August, early September, and so now it's like, hey, it's summertime, you're not working, relax, do something besides pushing yourself to do things that could wait. Problem is, I hate waiting. I've done that the hurry up and wait game from the military. Ugh. Something I don't like anymore. I don't like the hurry up and wait stuff. It's like, I want it now. Or within a reasonable time, not, months, weeks, whatever. But I spent a good 30 minutes looking at Amazon stuff on my phone. And the funny thing is I wasn't even looking for Amazon stuff for myself. I was looking for Amazon stuff to make it easier to convert the minivan into an RV, because like, okay, I know we talked about solar rechargers, and we talked about, this for camping and this for camping and all different types of things. And Jerry, I haven't done it yet, but Jerry asked me how the futon, the click-clack couch, would fit in the back end of the minivan without the feet. And I was like, I don't know. But then I started thinking, well, why take off the feet? Leave the feet on there. That way we have space to put storage bins underneath it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going, wait a minute, if I do that, I won't have a couch or anything to sit on to play games. Which seems a little selfish, but at the same time, it's like logical. But right now, I'm not 100% worried about it, because I want Jerry to heal up so that she could enjoy camping. Even though I'm kind of like, ooh, if I did it now, I can go out and get away in the RV and not have to worry about a hotel room or anything like that. And I could probably, if it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, go to Merrimack Springs or some other park that have camping spots and just go there for a day or two. Don't know. There's a lot of things that we've been talking about, a lot of things we've been like, we could do this, yeah, we can do that. So it's one of those things where it's like, I think Nelly said it. Nelly basically said, if you have it on your bucket list and you really, really want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. And Nelly, you're right, because I really, really want to do the RV thing where we can get out and go where we want to, and if we need to use the minivan as a passenger vehicle, we can just remove, one or two items, or a handful of items, whatever. Because most of the time, unless we're in Ohio, we're either riding, well, we did last time, we rode with other people. Because I think the last time we went to Ohio, I think we used we used two vehicles, because we drove ours with me, Jerry, and my second cousins, my cousin Philip's kids. But now that one is in college and the other one just graduated senior high school, we don't know what they're going to be doing for the summer. In fact, the last time we were up there, the one child, she's now a young adult, was working in the summertime so she can earn money for college, even though I think she said she had a scholarship of some sort, but she still needed X amount of dollars or X amount of money. And then, so it was the youngest one, and I don't remember if the middle one who just graduated high school was with us or not. But we like going up to Ohio because we get together as a family and go romping around Amish country, because there's several different places we like to go in Ohio. We like to stop and have lunch, dinner at Mrs. Yoder's, and then we go to Heine's, which is a butcher. Is Heine's a butcher? Well, Mrs. Yoder's is a little little diner. They've got some great food. I can get my fill on honey, or not honey, but mustard. Um, Basically, they're pickled eggs, but they're pickled with mustard in it. So the outer coating of the egg gets this nice hard shell of mustard flavored deliciousness. And they've got homemade like chicken and dumplings or homemade meatloaf or just like home cooked foods. You can get like, what I love to go up there for is the meatloaf with their I forgot what it's almost like a pierogi, but it's more like a ravioli stuffed with a potato, with the brown gravy, and then the all-you-can-eat salad bar, which is where I get my pickled eggs and all kinds of delicious foods. And then we go to this one place, and I can't remember the name of it, which has got, basically, you go in there and you can get all kinds of different cheeses and things of that nature. And then we go to the place right across the street, which is where we get, our meats, our smoked meats, and mom buys, I forgot what mom buys, but my aunt will buy what they call crackling, or crackle, something like that. But I usually get like smoked sausage and smoked meats. And these things are not like smoked in a different location or brought to premises. No, they're smoked right there, and you can smell it. And you can smell the fragrance of the different seasonings and whatnot as the meats are being smoked. And then, get like beef jerky and kibasi and smoked sausages, smoked sausage of one form or another. But I kind of miss going there. I don't think we went last year because of Jerry's health. Or if we did, we didn't know what was going on with Jerry, and Jerry didn't really enjoy it that well. But I don't think we went to Ohio last year. I think we went to Texas, which is fine by me. I mean, I like visiting our friends and family in Texas. I just don't like the temperature. But you've got to realize that every place you go is going to have something different, whether it's quality or quantity of foods, temperature, weather, people being people. But I'm hoping this year we can. I'd love it if we can go to both Ohio and Texas, but that depends on finances and Jerry's health, because she's going back to St. Louis on the 13th for a exam by her surgical team to see if everything looks green. Everything looks like they can give us the green light for her to stop wearing the brace and start walking. Because as soon as that happens, she's going to want to get her, if it's needed, get her spine irradiated, however you want to put it. And the doctors will also see if she needs to go back on her chemo treatments. And the way it sounds right now, according to everybody she's talked to in her medical teams, what they're going to try to do is 3 months. No, not 3 months. Is it 3 months or 30 days? I can't remember now. All I remember it's 3, so it's either 3 months or 30 days. It has a 3 in it. That's all I can remember. But what it sounds like is they're going to do like so many days or months on treatment, and then so many not days, months. So many months. Basically, it was going to like this amount of time on treatment, this amount of time off treatment, just so her body doesn't get a buildup of toxins or whatnot, which caused all her back problems and her surgical spots to crack back open, which the upper hip and mid leg are healing up nicely. The two spots near her knee are healing up, but they're still problematic to the point where the visiting nurse will not classify them as healed. But the upper hip, she's already classified as healed. The mid leg, she's hoping that when she comes back in Tuesday, that will be that she can classify it as healed, and then focus on the lower two, which is actually going good because the only major issue that I see as problematic is the two lower surgical spots on her lower knee, or on her knee area. Every so often, if she's got her leg bent too long or sitting or whatnot, sometimes it will start to bleed. Then it's her shoulders. Granted, her left shoulder is no longer looking like the continent of Africa. It's starting to look like Australia. Australia on its side. The right one, I'll be honest with you, I can't tell if it's shrinking or growing. So the right one is kind of like been my focus of trying to keep a visual record, whether it's via photograph or poor memory, which I'm starting to not rely on when it comes to certain things, which is sad. But she's healing slowly but surely. And I think the reason why the shoulders were the way the shoulders became the way they were is because that's where they bombarded her shoulders with actual radiation, and not just chemo pills, but the actual wand or device that they point at the skin and bombard it with whatever. So I'm hoping that when they go to do the spine, if they need to do the external radiation, won't cause that kind of problem like on her shoulders. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. I worry about that stuff. I can understand it's a great tool. You know, it's something that science discovered, but at the same time, the side effects are more problematic in my brain than the actual problem. But hey, we're getting it done. Everything we're doing now is working for her benefits. Even though I do get my concerns up because like you're doing what with what? So you're poisoning the body to kill a cancer. Yet the poison that you're using to kill a cancer has a very minute chance of doing more damage than it's worth. Well, in Jerry's case, yeah, it worked. She recuperated faster than they expected. But the side effects are now the problem. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is something I was afraid of. But I'm not a doctor. I don't know all the ins, outs, ifs, what's, where's, buts, and all that fun stuff. But I'm just kind of like, yeah. So basically what we've been focusing on for the last month or so was more quality of life than anything else. Which is kind of like, really, we're supposed to be focusing on quality of life, but yet she's in pain almost constantly. and she's stuck in a bed because she can't walk or do as much as she wants to because the brace that you gave her is too big because she's lost quite a bit of weight. And according to the doctors, that was also a concern because she lost a good bit of weight in a very short period of time, which is not always a good thing, but the doctors weren't too worried about it, except for the fact that one doctor was like, yes, lose weight, and the other doctor was like, no, try to maintain your weight, or he was one that went, you're losing weight too fast, you need to bulk up. And it was kind of like, you need to communicate to get your facts straight to decide, does she lose weight, does she not lose weight, what's the amount of loss or weight loss that would be more to your liking, that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of like, yeah, okay. But I'm just happy she's doing better. And just to point something out, I don't know if you guys noticed, what just happened was I was talking about my well-being and my health, and I switched over to worrying about Jerry and her well-being. That's the type of person I am. I'm more focused on her well-being because she's got the more serious problems. As far as I'm concerned, if I can get up out of bed every morning and do something, I'm good. Even though maybe I'm not good psychologically, or maybe I'm not good physically because I hurt. I only have so much energy. And I look at some of my problems going, no, I can't focus on those because I can't let myself, I can't allow myself to break down until I know Jerry's, good and can, do her own thing. And then I'll worry about breaking down and finding out what's wrong with my problems and hoping it's nothing severe. It's just lack of proper sleep or lack of something. Not like, oh yeah, you've got, some kind of ailment that puts me down for hopefully no more than a day or two. Because I know me, I can't sit down. I can't really sit still for a while. Even sitting here doing this video, I'm fidgeting and, can't seem to be still long enough to do a video. Even if it's, 30, 40 minutes long, I just can't sit still. And that was the thing. It was like Thursday morning, I came in here to do a video, and my mind and my body were just like, dude, you gotta do something. The house looks like it needs a little bit of a spruce up. Like, it needs more than a spruce up. It needs a makeover. I wish I could afford to have my house made over, because there's a lot of things I would change about this house. Yeah. If I could afford to do a makeover, Mom would have, instead of using a central air system, there's this system that you can have, each room can have its own personal air conditioning heater unit that's tied into the house's AC unit and heat unit. Well, mostly AC, because the heat is just electrically generated. And from where I stand, it's like 10 times cheaper. At least in New York, it was 10 times cheaper than what we have here. And that way, we can keep the bedroom at a certain temperature. We can keep this room at a certain temperature. We can even probably try to keep the guest room at a certain temperature, the living room at a certain temperature. Mom can have her rooms at a certain temperature, and then nobody will have to complain about, oh, it's too hot, it's too cold, that kind of thing. That's one of the things I would like to do. Second thing I'd like to do is either expand the mudroom towards the carport, or into the carport, and have a bigger pantry and a bigger mudroom, maybe a little sink out there for, just whatever. The kitchen would be slightly, I'd probably push the kitchen towards mom's side of the house to expand it without blocking the Arcadia door. Expand that way into the carport. This room is fine. The guest room is, I'd like to make that a little bit bigger, which means I'd have to expand out towards the street a little bit. Probably expand it to the point where I can put a window in there. I don't know why there's not a window in that room. Oh, I know why. Because it was not originally a room by itself. The wall right here was a full wall. This was a big room at one point in time. I'd like to expand the craft room a little bit and make better, built-in shelves and whatnot. Not get, take out the closet, because we really don't use the closet. So take out the closet and just do some build-ins for shelving and whatnot for all Jerry's craft stuff. I have a few ideas that I'd love to do for this house, but I don't know where the weight-bearing walls and whatnot are, so that would be a minor issue. The electrical system, I don't know how old it is, but it might need revamping. I have a lot of ideas for this house if we were going to stay here, but if Diane and I are not going to be here living in it and putting into this house, Mom wants to sell so she can, afford a place of her own, which would slightly force us to live out of the RV unless Mom gets a smaller house with either a spare bedroom or a basement that is fixed up, so it has like rooms instead of just one big open area, and does not flood. That's one of the bad things about here in Rolla, is depending on where your house is built, depends on if it gets flooding. So if your house is built on a slope, you get flooding. Like the house that Mom lived in when we moved back to Missouri from New York, or when I moved back here from New York, Jake, of course, was with me. Her basement, because she was at the lower half of a hill, her basement would get flooded. Not that much, but just enough that you really could not do anything down there to convert it into living space. And part of it was the foundation was cracking. Now, I don't want to speak ill about the owner of the house, or the company, the third party that was running, the finances for the house. They were not good people when it came to maintaining a home. They would rent it out, and that was it. You either had to call somebody to do something and hope you can get reimbursed, or you had to do it yourself and hope you can get reimbursed. Because when I saw what the problem was, I knew exactly what the problem was. It was a combination of the foundation was starting to erode, and it was cracking, so it was letting water in through the cracks, which is not good for a house foundation, because eventually that wall is going to pop off, and you're going to have to either get somebody out there quickly to repair the damages. Otherwise, the house will start to sink because there's no foundation to support it. And I didn't like that idea. Mom didn't want to own, I didn't want to rent. So it's kind of like, let's sit down and look at the pros and cons of each. And that's when we decided, okay, we'll buy it, because then we don't have to go through a third party to get somebody out to repair anything that's under warranty. And the only thing about this house is it does not have a basement. No big deal. It has enough room for people to live in if they didn't have so much extra. I don't blame anybody for that. That could be Jerry, that could be Mom, that could be me. I try not to have extras because I'm used to living a minimalist lifestyle. And that's one of the things I pointed out to Jerry. I said, Jerry, if we're going to do RVing, whether we're living in the RV 24/7 or we're just using it for extended periods of time, we cannot, especially if we're going to transform the minivan into an RV, we cannot have a lot of extras. We have to live a minimalist lifestyle. We'll see where that takes us. Because I was like, I'm not buying a trailer to pull extras behind the minivan. I'm not going to make the minivan so stuffed that we can't sleep in there comfortably, let alone do anything, else. Living, sleeping, dealing with cooking, and all that other stuff. Because as I see it now, we're either going to have a mini cook stove, or we're going to have to find a way to be able to bring a table, even if it's a small folding table, along with us to cook off of. So I was looking at a lot of that kind of stuff this morning. But anyhow, I just realized that this video is over 40 minutes long, and I'm sorry. So I'm going to let you guys go. If you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this video, go ahead and put it on the in the comment box. If you're new to our channel and want to see what we do for the adventures of our life, whether it's health issues, RVing, life in general. Everybody's life is different. Sometimes it's nice to look at somebody else's life and go, I don't have it as bad as I thought I did. Or, their life is very interesting. They've had a very full life. Me being the child of the Air Force, yeah, I've been to a lot of different places. I've, had my youthful adventures, and I don't feel like I'm done. I feel like I have a good 20 plus years left in me to have my adventures before my body goes, nope, retirement home. I hope not, but we'll see. But anyhow, if you choose to join for whatever reasons, hopefully positive reasons, you can hit the subscribe bell, and once you do that, there will be a little bell. There's there's a subscribe button that you can push, and then a little bell will pop up, or click on, and then the bell will pop up, and you click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. And yeah, I have issues with words. Sometimes they escape me. But anyhow, you guys have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully where you live, it's not rainy or nasty. You can get out and enjoy it if it's not too hot. But yeah. See you around. Bye.